So good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for your patience. It is my pleasure to welcome you all to this insightful webinar on India, Central and East European countries, trade and investment opportunities, organized by the Trade Promotion Council of India in collaboration with the Embassy of Czech Republic and Embassy of Romania. It is hardly a secret that India enjoyed excellent political, economic, and military ties with Eastern and Central Eastern Europe during the Cold War. The following 3 decades have also seen a consistent growth of their bond. Today, India and Central East Europe are two significant geographical regions with respect to future global trade and investments point of view. The CEE region is flourishing with niche capabilities in technology, defense, and IT sectors, thereby attracting India. Further, the Visegrad Group, also known as the V4 countries, comprising of Czech Republic, Poland, Hungary, and Slovakia, has emerged among the fastest growing economies in the European Union in the 21st century. Countries in Central and Eastern Europe are important for India as they offer foreign companies the access to EU's markets, but with lower operational costs than the western part of Europe. At the same time, At the same time, despite the pandemic, India is one of the brightest spots in South Asia, with its economy expected to grow by 7.2% in 2021 as per the latest UN projections. This makes it an attractive trade partner that the CEE countries just cannot ignore. India also has expertise when it comes to sectors like the IT and technology, which can help build a meaningful synergy between them. Further, India promises to be a key trading partner for the CEE region, especially for inelastic products like pharmaceuticals, textiles, and footwear. A point to note is that in 2020, the total imports of the CEE region from world declined by 3.2%, but its imports from India surged by 1%. Thus, India's exports to the CEE have risen steadily from US $5.20 billion in 2018 to US $5.31 billion in 2020. However, India's imports from the CEE region dipped from $4.66 billion US in 2018 to US $4.01 billion in 2020. One of the unique points to observe regarding India's export basket to the CEE region is that it is uniform and equal for majority of exported products rather than just a few trade items which are skewered at the top. This signals a decent market acceptance for indigenous products. India's top exported products to CEE region include medicaments, cell phones, footwear, textiles, iron and steel products, ceramic tiles, and compounds with nitrogen. Meanwhile, CEE's key imports to India include sunflower seeds, coke products, spark ignition piston engine, oil cakes, gas turbines, and electrodes of graphite. The CEE region accounts for only 0.13% of India's exports, while Indian investment is slowly growing in the CEE region, although it's modest. Despite these constraints, the CEE region appears to be the key region to bolster business ties with India in terms of agriculture, energy, transportation, cybersecurity, and IT. Therefore, there is a phenomenal untapped trade potential between the two regions that they can explore by advancing their military, cultural, economic, and energy cooperation. This webinar will dwell on bilateral trade relations of the two CEE countries with India, trade opportunities available for Indian industries, possibilities of collaboration, ease of doing business, import and export policies of the government, including trade barriers, untapped sectors, custom regulation and formalities, and other issues vital to the trade of these two regions. For this webinar, we have an esteemed panel comprising of Mr. Milan Hovorka, Ambassador of Czech Republic, Her Excellency Daniela Mariana Tain, the Ambassador of Romania, and Mr. V.K. Gauba, Additional Director General, TPCI. For kickstarting this session, I would first like to request Mr. Gauba, Additional Director, TPCI, to talk about the trade potential of India with the CEE region. Over to you, sir. Goba, sir. Sir, can you hear me? Mr. Goba? Mr. Goba? I think there's some network issue at his end. Mr. Goba is not able to join.
इस पे ऊपर किसे डाल दिया कि वो तो फैन से ही नीचे होता है फिर इसको ऊपर किसे डाल रहा है
So Mr. Goba is probably having some network issue problem. Meanwhile, let's go ahead with His Excellency, Mr. Milan Hovarka. Sir, I would request you to share your views on. Okay, we have Mr. Goba back over here. Sir, could you please share your views on the IT sector and the trade potential that India has? Mr. Goba? Mr. Goba, can you hear me?
His Excellency, Ambassador of Czech Republic, Ambassador of Romania, we are very glad to have both of you on the webinar organized by the TPCI. This webinar is in the series of the other webinars which we have been conducting so that our members and those who are the stakeholders, they come face to face and learn the basic facts, of what is preventing the trade, or is the trade is not moving in the direction or as fast, as we all expect it to be. From the basic data which has been given by the NICAR, as you would have seen, that total imports of India from the CEE region is marginal, is 1.13%, and likewise over imports from India to the CEE is also 0.43%. So from there, one can easily make out that you see there is a room for enhancing the trade on both sides. We have made some assessments and some analysis in TPCI to look at why the trade is abysmally low level. India is making export to the world in some of the items which I can just list it out, which will help us, that where the trade stands with the CEE, like medium oils and preparations of petroleum or bituminous minerals not containing biodiesel. We are making 9.3% of the total exports from India, but it is zero in case of CEE in percentage.
Right now, hello, can you hear me? Right now, there seems to be some network issue at his end. Your Excellency, I would please request you to take over Mr. Milan for discussing about India's relationships with Czech Republic till the time Mr. Goba joins us. Mr. Milan, can you hear me? His Excellency, Mr. Milan?
Yes, I believe I can hear you.
Sir, actually, there seems to be some network issue at Mr. Goba's
Oh, I'm so
end.
sorry, because, well, I believe that we have to extend our sincerest apologies for those who have been with us, and in fact, I am about to start my initial remarks at
Yes,
the
sir.
time when
I would
I was...
request you to please please start your initial remarks. I apologize, there's some network issue at his end. Mr. Gopa's end.
So I'm now.
I have two questions for you. Firstly, India has a strong IT sector with Czech Republic, and while Czech Republic has a strong manufacturing base. What is your view on the synergy that this brings and the potential that India and Czech Republic have ahead?
Okay, but with your kind permission, before I respond to this questions, I feel obliged to apologize for those who are with us for any inconvenience caused by these technical difficulties. At the same time, I would like to welcome Daniela, dear friend of mine and distinguished representative of Romania, a friendly country with which we develop a thriving bilateral relationship and also within the European Union, to which we are both proud members. And definitely I would like to use this opportunity to extend my sincerest gratitude to the Trade Promotion Council of India for organizing this seminar. And still, if you permit me, before responding to that particular question, let me initially react to Mr. Goba introductory remarks, just to tell you that I may not necessarily share what I understood as a kind of a gloomy picture of where we stand in bilateral trade relations between the Czech Republic and India. And I will start with a kind of general comment to say that if you look at Indian export statistics, you may not necessarily see the same data as we can download from the Czech Statistical Office. The reason is quite obvious, as in our bilateral trade, we still do have too many interlocutors. But I believe that participants to this seminar will be pleased to hear that the number are substantially higher than one could eventually expect. And I tell you honestly that even in that COVID 2020 year, bilateral trade, I mean, Indo-Czech bilateral trade was almost identical as in 2019. And 2019 was a record year in which bilateral trade reached $1.6 billion US. And I can go even further to tell you what is the situation in 2021. Here we do have data just for the first 7 months. And you will not believe, but I can see amazing 46% growth in bilateral relations. And I tell you that it is not necessarily two-way avenue. It is not necessarily a balanced trade, as we import substantially more from India compared to what we export. But this is not an issue for us. For us, it is the most important that Czech companies can find good counterparts in this country who can help them in their efforts to enhance competition, both in domestic and global scale. So these are just my commentaries, and at the same time I have to say that today's seminar is not just about trade. It is also about investment opportunities. And from this perspective, I tell you that both companies are benefiting tremendously from the opportunities offered by both countries' markets. And believe me, we do have a number of Czech giants doing, I believe, extremely well in the Czech Republic. And we do have also substantially increased number of those who don't want to do business with India just on a supply basis, but who want to create a long-term presence here in India. And what is equally encouraging, that it is no longer just about big companies. It is not just about multinationals. More and more small and medium-sized enterprises are really trying their best, and both countries' governments are in a day-to-day contact with a view to promoting this particular segment of our bilateral relationship. Now, finally, and very briefly, turning to your question, definitely the Czech Republic is one of the best European investment destinations in information and communication technologies, and this is confirmed or evidenced by a large presence of big global multinationals, including Microsoft, Cisco, Oracle, and I'm also extremely happy that we do have Infosys also on the list, and Infosys has created a great technology hub, giving rise to hundreds of high-quality jobs. And at the same time, we do have a number of our own Czech companies which distinguished themselves for high level of competence. Just to name some of it, Avast, I believe that millions of Indians have also their programs in their computers, either in companies or back home. And I could go on to mention some other companies as well. There is one relevant point which is related to recently adopted Czech Republic National Recovery Plan. And this plan has been adopted by the Czech government as a part of a common EU response to challenges arising from COVID-19 pandemic. And the purpose of that plan is to promote green economy and digitalization of the Czech Republic. And the total amount of money which is to flow to the Czech Republic is 7 billion euros. Imagine that. It is a huge amount of money. And I'm mentioning it that because I see that there is a great potential for Czech companies and their Indian counterparts to work together with a view to participating actively in this program.
Right, so thank you so much for your address and sharing your responses to this question. I would like to ask one more question to you. What advantages does Czech Republic offer as an investment destination for Indian companies in terms of policy environment, market, technological ecosystem, etc.? And which are the sectors which look most promising in the coming years?
I would say that sorry for being cynically patriotic, to say that the Czech Republic is, I believe, one of the best trade and investment destinations and in Europe. And if you give me a minute of your time, I will try to elaborate a bit on why it is so. And definitely, I have to start by marking a very important element, which is a political stability. The Czech Republic is a well-established plurilateral democracy with excellent international relations, being a member of the European Union and the North Atlantic Alliance, and being able to develop thriving bilateral relations with so many countries across the globe. And believe me, India, a friendly country with which the Czech Republic has a strong bond of bilateral relationship, embracing a number of areas. India is very high on this agenda. You know, the Czech Republic is one of the most industrial countries with one of the highest industry to GDP ratio. And I am mentioning all that because in our case, it is above 30%. And here in India, if my understanding is correct, it is 17. And I'm mentioning all that because I believe that we are ideally positioned to be successful participants in India's initiatives like making in India also. And it is also one of the most open economies, again measured by trade to GDP ratio. We have always been fervent supporters of free trade because we believe that we owe much of our success to the open character of the Czech economy. And definitely we are a country with a very business friendly environment, offering excellent opportunities both to domestic and foreign investments or investors. And talking about or making a kind of distinction between domestic and foreign economic operators, I have to add immediately that they are treated in an identical way. There is no discrimination between the Czech Republic companies and their foreign partners, because it is, I believe, a very, very important element and a very strong encouragement for any foreign company, including those who are based in India, really to consider the possibility of entering the Czech market and doing their business there. And again, talking about the market, being member of the European Union, believe me, it is not just about a 10 million market, as we apply the same set of rules and principles. If you are successful in the Czech Republic market, it automatically means that the door is open to nearly 500 million consumers market of the European Union. I may not have enough time to talk about ratings. I may not be having enough time to talk about large talent pool. I may not have enough time to talk about the various sectors, but if possible, I may be able to address them in, for example, in a QR session. But in the meantime, I'm thanking very much for giving me the opportunity to address this audience, and definitely, Daniela, if it took a bit more time to respond to these questions, I am extending my sincerest apologies to you.
Thank you so much, His Excellency, for sharing your insightful views with us. I'm sure the Indian audience attending this would be quite excited to participate and establish their presence in your country. Now, I would request Ms. Daniela, Her Excellency, to please throw some light on, firstly, Romania as a country.
I don't hear you. I didn't hear your introduction.
No worries. Firstly, thank you so much, His Excellency, Mr. Millen, for sharing your valuable insights with us. Our Indian audience will be very excited to participate and to establish their presence in your country. At the same time, I would thank you, Ms. Daniela, for establishing your presence and taking time out for this interaction. Ma'am, I would also request you to please throw some light on the bilateral relations of India and Romania.
Hello, everybody. Thank you very much for inviting us for having the opportunity to discuss these very interesting issues of bilateral investment between India and, let's take the whole Eastern and Central Europe as a whole, because comparing with the size of India, we can be we are a small part. If you allow me, before answering questions, I prepared the presentation. So I will make a presentation of investment opportunities in Romania, the investment background, what we offer to the foreign investors, and also a very brief presentation of Indo-Romanian economic bilateral ties.
Sure.
And after that, if there are still more questions, we will try to answer. I have here close to me our economic counselor, Mr. Viziru. Come. He is my right hand regarding economic issues. I arrived 4 months ago to India. So yes, I will share the screen, and I kindly ask you to also look at the slides, and I will just briefly pass through the main indicators contained in the slides. It's okay?
Sure, ma'am. Please go ahead.
Okay, so as you all know, Romania is a country situated in the Southeast Europe, a member of the European Union since 2007, and it is the 7th largest market in the EU, with a strategic position at the crossroads of the traditional commercial and energy routes between E27, Asia, and the Community of Independent States. Here, this second slide, you can see the map of Romania with the Danube River. 1/3 of the Danube river is passing through Romania. We have here the Constanța port and the main airport in the main countries, in the main cities of the country. As you can see, the Romanian GDP growth was quite good in the past few years before COVID crisis. Here we have the 2009 to 2008, 2010 economic crisis. After this, we had a steady growth. And again, in the COVID crisis implied an economic negative growth, but the forecast for this year is quite good with 5%. Also, here you can see the inflation rate, the unemployment rate. Romania has had a steadily quite good unemployment rate comparing with other European and international. On the international level, we stayed quite well. The COVID crisis led to some rise in unemployment, but not at worrying figures. Also, the inflation rate it's quite under control given the situation. Yeah, here is a minimum monthly wage in the EU. We are in the back, but we are steadily growing. It's the economy, as the economy will continue growing, the minimum wage will grow. But this is also an advantage of Romania, because once you have not such a big salaries, you attract more foreign investment, because it's more competitive to produce in Romania than in another countries with higher salaries. So this is one of the advantages of Romania to attract in the eyes of foreign investors. Yes, so if I look a bit at the foreign direct inflows in Romania, here you can see the variations in the past 17 years. The foreign direct inflows were channeled primarily in the transport equipment, oil processing, chemical, rubber and plastic products, metallurgy, construction and real estate transactions, trade, financial and intermediation and insurance, electricity, gas and water supply. What is a very, very big advantage of Romania is the language skills. We have 99% of students, high school students, who study 2 or more foreign languages. We are considered among the most competitive in being able to speak very different foreign languages. The predominant is English, followed by French, German, and Spanish. And now it's a growing interest for Japanese, Nordic languages, and Chinese as well. The tax system also, it's a competitive tax system. We have a 19% VAT, a standard, but comparing to the EU taxes, we are, as you can see, amongst the lowest. We have amongst the lowest VAT tax, and the 16% corporate tax, which is also very attractive for foreign investors. Here you can see, so what I was talking about, the labor costs in 2020 was about €8 per hour, one of the most competitive labor force in the EU. We are considered we were ranked by the World Bank as a country where it's easy of doing business, ahead of Italy, Bulgaria, Luxembourg, Greece, or Malta. The natural gas prices and the electricity prices are also reasonably comparing to the other EU countries. Here you have a slide where you can see the industrial parks existing in Romania. We have 96 in the entire country. Very modern industrial parks spread across the country. As you can see, they are very well geographically present, spread in each region of the geographical region of the country. These industrial parks are exempted on land, building, and urban planning taxes, which are important facilities for foreign investors. Here you have a comparative slide comparing the prices, the consumer prices, rent prices, restaurant, groceries, standard of living equivalency in Bucharest, Berlin, and London. As you can see, Bucharest is still rated among the best value for money, one of the best value for money capitals of Europe, with smaller prices and standards of services similar to the more expensive European cities and even out of Europe cities. Here, what you have to keep in mind is that the Romanian government gives support to the foreign investors. We have two state aid schemes for supporting the foreign capital influx into the domestic economy. One for investments of minimum exceeding 1 million euros. The cost includes constructions of new buildings, renting, acquisition of land, intellectual property, technical installation and tools. And then the other one is for the companies creating minimum 100 jobs. So eligible cost includes salary cost registered for 2 consecutive year period, resulted as a direct consequence of the investments, plus benefits. Here you have some examples of state-supported investments with state aid budget, which is around between 2014, so in the decade 2014-2023, it will rise, it's estimated to rise to 1.5 billion euro. So amongst the main are Dacia, Renault, France. You know that Renault bought Dacia factory, which is a factory building cars, and the Dacia Renault model is produced also in India. It's the Duster. Then you have Sofigeti, Sonaca, Belgium, and so you can see from the slide the other companies which have received a big aid from the state budget. Yes, I will pass a little bit to the trade between Romania, and then we can discuss about investment opportunities. Actually, in investment opportunities you have in all the sectors, in agriculture, in the automotive sector, we discussed about it a little bit before, business service sector, research and development, and aerospace and agriculture. The trade between Romania and India in the last 7 years was growing. The best figures we have in 2018. 2019 was also good. The pandemic showed a decrease in our bilateral trade in 2020, but this year we have a very good perspective. I mean, the bilateral trade in the first 6 months of this of 2021 increased with 80% comparing with the same period of the last year. There are differences between the figures registered in the bilateral trade between the Romanian side and the Indian side, because the financial year starts in Romania from the 1st of January and it's until 31st of December, so it's different than India. Of course, there is a lot to be done. We have a lot to explore in order to increase both the Romanian exports to India and the Indian exports to Romania. We are working on it. So you can see now here the structure of the bilateral commerce. In 2020, the most recent figures, components. So you have here, we export to India, as you can see, automotive components, machinery, electrical, IT, metals, fuel, minerals, chemicals, and we import from India mineral products, chemical products, plastical and article from plastic, metals, textiles and garments, Seeds, fruits, pharmaceutical products are amongst the important ones, tractors, agricultural equipment, machinery, and electrical equipment. Yes, so I thank you very much. And in case you have questions, yes, I forgot a very important slide, the Indian investment in Romania. We have a number of 563 Indian companies or Romanian Indian joint ventures registered in Romania. Here we have also difference in figures. The subscribed share capital, invested capital is 9.72 million US dollars. But in fact, from our estimations, I mean, here is a difference. Let me see. This official data shows only investment routed from India directly, but many of the Indian companies made investment in Romania through their branches in Europe or Asia. So the real figure is more than, it's almost double. It's about 1.7 billion. Amongst the main investors we have companies in IT. In IT, the biggest some of the biggest Indian investors in Romania are Infosys, Tata Consulting Services, Wipro, also Genpact, and then more recently Tech Mahindra and Hexaware. So this is in very brief. I try to resume as much as possible. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Her Excellency, for sharing such a detailed presentation with us. Ma'am, I have 2 questions for you. How do you view the prospects of the ongoing talks for India-EU BTIA? And what are the key sectors where Romania is looking for greater market access in India?
From greater?
Market access in India.
So I think to ask your first question, I'm trying to get rid of the minimalism of this. Anyway, yes. So regarding the EU-India FTA trade talks, they have to start. I mean, there is just the beginning. I think it will be a long process. Maybe not so long as it was before. You need an important political will on both sides. I mean, I take EU as a group, as a whole, and India as the country, as a partner. I think concluding this FTA agreement would be of great benefits of both India and the EU. So I think it's very important. Your second question, we would like to enter the Indian market with Romanian IT companies. You know, Romania has very proficient. We are amongst we have amongst the best quoted worldly IT programmers. We have very skilled. I cannot give you now figures of the numbers of Romanian ITs, but we have a high percentage of amongst the highest in the world as a number of IT specialists. So IT would be one of the sectors. The other one, machinery. Machinery is defense. We are trying to work together in the defense industry. We are in an exploratory phase, but we hope that we initiated some talks and we may advance in this field as well.
Thank you so much, Your Excellency, for answering this question. How do you look at India as a supplier market going forward?
Sorry, supplier market? I didn't hear well.
How do you look at India as a supplier market going forward? What are the challenges that exist between trade expansion?
We have to be competitive.
Yes. I think India is it's doing well. India's exports are growing. There is an increasing interest in India to import products from India. I just came recently from Romania, and I was approached by several big business companies which want to import from Romania various things. It's I mean, the main advantage India should have is would be the price, of course, because to import things from Romania, like for example, I have somebody who wanted to import construction material. If they were importing from China, the prices grow up, and now they are trying to explore the Indian market. If the prices remain low, and this would help the exports. If the prices increase, maybe they will try to find out cheaper markets. It's all that this is the main rule. I mean, you need to produce better and cheaper and better quality and cheaper than the others in order to penetrate the market. And the competition is it's fierce. So.
Right. Thank you so much, Her Excellency, for sharing such detailed insights with us and our audience.
May I come in? May I come in?
Sure, sir.
And sorry for interrupting you. I just wanted to echo what Daniela has said with regard to the importance of resumed free trade and investment agreements between the European Union and India. And it's amazing that leaders, not necessarily meeting physically in Porto earlier this year, took a very, I believe, wise decision to resume these negotiations. We may have differences how to treat trade or investment. We have also to add additional protection of geographical indications. But the most important, and here I have to underline the most important, that we do have a decision in principle to resume negotiations.
Yes.
And I am 100% confident that our negotiators commission on our side, which, as you may know, is negotiating on behalf of EU 27 member states, clearly upon the mandate given to it by members and the government of India. So I believe that we will be able not only to resume these negotiations, but also to bring them to a successful and mutual beneficial and very soon. We all know what are the subjects. These have been on the table for some time. So I believe that now it's time really to sit together and start bargaining. And I am 100% sure that we both will benefit a lot if we are successful in our endeavor. So sorry, just because this is a very important from I believe both sides perspective. So I wanted simply to come in and comment on this particular aspect. Thank you so much.
Definitely, sir. I really appreciate your views and your deep insights on this topic. I would now like to request Mr. V.K. Gauba, additional DG, TPCI, to have a quick discussion on the key export potential products that India has for these countries. Mr. Gauba, over to you. Yes.
I'm back. I'm sorry that again, there was some problem of connection, and hopefully, I think I'll be able to spend some time with you. I have here both ambassadors, and with their excellent, details, they have given about, the trade between two countries and that region, and how, this we can further, expand it. As we see here in TPCI, there are few there are a few things, which we can look at, if possible, through the FTA, no doubt, or otherwise outside the regime of FTA. If that can be also worked out, there can be some platform other than FTA also, because as Ambassador Daniel has mentioned that, it depends much on the will of the politicians who are on the helm of the affairs, and also, it's very time consuming, whole exercise. So we feel that here it is a barriers, which are working, against the trade expansion. Some are, of course, the trade barriers, some are the non-trade barriers. Trade barriers, which are mostly tariff related, I can understand this will be only addressed with the FTA, and that is will take some time. But the non-trade barriers, which are in non-trade barriers, I can mention a few of them, that you see how these are coming in the way of the exports from India. There are 272 technical barriers, as we have seen, 97 sanitary and phytosanitary trade barriers, and 35 quality control measures. This we feel that, outside the FTA, we can also look at it that, you see, by having a backward integration in the form of overseeing all the processes by the importers of your countries and in your region. They can tightly watch all the process of manufacturing and then see that it meets the standards. And so that, when the product is ready and it meets your standards and there are no issues, when it lands in your country. Perhaps, I think, one by one, each product line, we can look at it in a follow-up, some meetings, which we can have at your level or at a lower level, and see that how this can be addressed. Having said that, we feel in TPCI that, you see, there is a need that is we have such interactions, and then members, definitely getting benefited because they are here, both of you, and they are very much made aware of what are the facts of trade, and also the import and export, the way it is happening in your region. And I thank both of you that you are sparing your time, and also the troubles. I'm sorry again that, you see, there were some issues in the beginning of connection, and also later in the half. Nikar.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So you're on mute.
I don't want to say anything further.
Yes, Mr. Baba, we can hear you. Please come again, sir.
Yeah, Nikar, that's okay. In fact, I just want to wind up and thank all of you for this. Hello?
Right, so you're audible. You're audible, sir.
Am I audible now?
Now you are, sir, yes.
Okay, I'm sorry again. There are most, I think, issues are coming up time and again. I will see that it doesn't happen in the future. So I thank ambassadors, for sparing their times and being a part of this webinar. And we shall be troubling you in future as well, so that I think interactions become more frequent and more fruitful also. Thank you for everybody.
Gauban, may I just come back to your points you made?
Please.
If
Please,
I don't know whether we still do have time, and believe me that I too have to attend another function. But you are.
No, please, I have time.
Yeah. Because definitely in my previous reaction, I talk about the institutional framework of our bilateral relations. And you are absolutely right that Indian companies entering the EU market may face certain difficulties of a regulatory nature. And you alluded to some of NTMs and non-tariff barriers, be it the technical norms and standards or sanitary or phytosanitary measures. And we definitely have our own list. I mean, those issues signaled by European companies who have entered Indian market and developed their business activities here. And I believe that also those who attend us will be pleased to hear that only recently the EU and India have launched a new mechanism. We call it a high-level trade and investment dialogue. And the purpose of this platform is to allow us to give more regularity to those issues that bother businesses of both sides, with the clear objective of facilitating bilateral trade and investment flow. So I'm just reacting to your presentation. Definitely, these are very important issues. And should there be anything specific to the Czech Republic, I am indicating my availability. We can sit together with you personally, your stakeholders, and I'll be more than happy to find out the ways or means how to fix any eventual difficulty, which, as I said, is specific to the Czech Republic. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks a lot, Ambassador. I think that will help us a lot. We'll take it up further this thing in the times to come. Thank you.
I would like to now thank all the panelists, His Excellency Mr. Milind, Her Excellency Ms. Daniela, and Mr. Gauba, as well as all the audience, for taking time out for this interactive discussion and sharing their views with us. Indeed, with this discussion, we hope to see sow the seeds of a much more meaningful engagement, and we hope to invest more in each other's countries and give a boost to our bilateral trade with several new products. Thank you again, once again, and looking forward to more such interactive discussions, hopefully with better internet.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good
Thank you
night.
very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.